Friends, we are very happy to inform you that e-modules are prepared for B.Ed program at Telangana by the School of Education, Osmania University under Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya National Mission on Teachers and Teaching Scheme MHRD New Delhi. It's indeed our pleasure to share with the teacher educators and the prospective teachers and get maximum benefit out of it. It's a first of its attempt by us. We continue to add many more such lessons to share with you all.
Hello students, the topic for today's class is intonation, one of the important components of that we have to cover under phonetics of English. The sound system of a language enables us to express meaning in speech in two ways: verbal and non-verbal. Verbal meaning is from what we say, which depends on vowels and consonants that are used to construct words, phrases and sentences. Non-verbal meaning is attained from the way that we say it, which makes use of certain factors such as intonation, rhythm and tone of voice. All these factors provide speech with its structure and expressiveness. These features help us to understand the attitudes and emotions of the speaker, the differences between statements and questions, and the various types of questions. These factors require us to focus attention on important elements of the spoken language. This knowledge helps us to regulate our conversational interaction. So, how many ways are there to say things? All the possible ways of saying things depend on some auditory properties of sound, such as pitch, loudness and speed. These properties, when used in combination, give rhythm to the language, and the effect is conveyed in the linguistic use of pitch movement or melody called the intonation system. Let us discuss this feature called intonation in detail. Let's recall one of the speech organs and its function in the production of speech sounds, that is glottis, which is held by a pair of lip-like structures called vocal cords. The vibration of vocal cords provides in sounds the distinction between voiced and voiceless sounds. It also has another important function in continuous speech, namely pitch fluctuation. Now, what is pitch fluctuation? Pitch fluctuation means the pitch of the voice is continually in the process of either falling or rising while we are talking. In fact, it never remains constant for more than a fraction of a second. Pitch fluctuation is found in speech of all the communities. It is not a random fluctuation, but it follows well-defined melodic patterns which are meaningful. So, let's understand the term pitch. When the vocal cords are kept loosely together, they vibrate, and that vibration of the vocal cords produces a musical note called voice. During normal speech, in the case of an adult male, the vocal cords vibrate between 80 to 120 times a second and between 150 to 200 times a second in the case of an adult female. The rate at which the vocal cords vibrate is called the frequency of vibration, and this determines the pitch of the voice. That is, the number of times the vocal cords open and close in a second. The more rapidly the vocal cords vibrate, the higher will be the pitch. When we hear someone speak, we realize that he doesn't always speak on the same note. We hear constant variations in the level at which his voice is pitched. That is to say, sometimes the pitch rises and sometimes the pitch falls. At other times, it remains level. The patterns of variation in the pitch of the voice, that is, the way the pitch varies or the fall or the rise, constitute the intonation of a language. For instance, examine the following sentences and let's try to pronounce. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Here, the pitch of our voice is moving from a high level to a low level. Therefore, this is called the falling tone. Sit down. The same sentence with a rising tone, the pitch of our voice will move from low to high. This is called the rising tone. So, what makes the tune or tone shapes? The shape of a tune or tone is decided by the number of important words in a word group and by the attitude one wishes to express. By important words we mean the words which carry most of the meaning in a group. For example, an answer to a question like this: how is Lalita? Oh, she is in a very bad temper. In this sentence, the first 4 words are not especially helpful to the meaning. That is, they are not important. But the last 3 words are important. Each of the words actually describes Lalita's state. Let's say it again. It can be said as follows: she is in a very bad temper. So, the most important word in this group is temper, and this decides the shape of the tune. We also have to remember that it's the syllable. That is, the word temper is a 2-syllabic word and it is the first syllable which is taking the pitch change. So, please note that it is the syllable that takes the pitch change and it is usually marked with one of the following signs depending upon the type of pitch change. Now, the symbol signifies, the first symbol signifies the falling tune. This is sometimes referred to as the glide down. It consists of a fall in the pitch of the voice from a high level. The second symbol signifies the rising tune. This is sometimes referred to as glide up. It consists of a rise in the pitch of the voice from a low level to a high level. The third symbol signifies the falling rising tone. First there is a fall and then there is a rise. The fourth symbol is the rising falling tone. First the rise and then it falls. Thus, in an utterance, we understand that one of the syllables or word which is normally decided by the context, which the speaker wants to make the most prominent, or even otherwise in the absence of a context, that is, if there is no contextual clue demanding extra prominence, usually it is the last prominent syllable on which the pitch movement gets initiated, and that syllable is called the nucleus of or the tonic syllable. For example, look at the sentence: The dress is good. Here there is no special emphasis, so the last prominent syllable becomes the nucleus, that is the word good. The second sentence, the dress is good. Now the special emphasis is on is. So any utterance, firstly it has to be divided into tone groups based on its length. For instance, observe the following sentences. Yes, thank you. What's your name? Last Monday I went to see the doctor. In the examples listed here, that is 1, 2, 3, are normally said to be as one tone group. But in the utterance in 4, which is divided into 2 tone groups because the sentence is a bit long and we have to take pause at the appropriate place so that we do not destroy the sense. That is why tone groups are also called breath groups or sense groups. Sometimes punctuation can give us a clue to the division of an utterance into tone groups, though it is not always a sure guide. A full stop always indicates the need of a tone, the end of tone group. So do commas, colons and semicolons. Observe this sentence. I reached the station but I could not catch the train. Note that the tone group boundary is marked by an oblique single bar and a sentence boundary is marked by oblique double bar. Now, every tone group will have a nucleus, that is, the syllable on which a pitch movement is initiated. It is called the tonic syllable. For example, I think Miss Lalita is at home. Her car is in the porch. Now, in this sentence, it is divided into 2 tone groups. I think Miss Lalita is at home. Her car is in the porch. And the first part of the first tone group, home is the nucleus, and the second tone group, porch is the nucleus. Look at the text sentence. I am leaving for Bombay tomorrow morning. In this sentence, we can understand that the first syllable of the word morning is the nucleus or the tonic syllable. As mentioned earlier, generally the last stressed syllable in a tone group is the nucleus. But any word in a tone group can be the nucleus depending on the meaning of speaker wishes to convey. For example, the other 2 sentences, I am leaving for Bombay tomorrow morning. I am leaving for Bombay tomorrow morning, that is not today. The nucleus is on the second syllable of tomorrow. The third sentence, I am leaving for Bombay tomorrow morning, not for any other city but Bombay. Thus, we understand that having divided a sentence into tone groups and having chosen the nucleus, a speaker has to choose one of the various tones discussed above so that the hearer can make out whether a particular utterance is a statement or a question, a command or a request, and so on. Secondly, the hearer also can find out the attitude or mood of the speaker, that is, whether the speaker is bored, annoyed, interested, sarcastic, etc., which are called as the intonation functions, and we will discuss later in the lesson. So, the basic 4 intonation patterns in English are: first, let us discuss the falling tune. The falling tune is normally used, firstly, ordinary statements made without any implication. Examples: I liked it very much. It was quite good. You can see the tune, the symbol of the falling tune on the words in the examples. Second, falling tune occurs in questions beginning with a question word such as what, how, where, why, etc., when it is said in a neutral way. Examples: who were you talking to? What's the matter? Falling tune is used in commands. Example: open the door. Take it away. Next, exclamations: excellent. How extraordinary. Next, question tags: when the speaker expects the listener to agree with him. Examples: it's pleasant today, isn't it? It was a good film, wasn't it? Then some rhetorical questions. Examples: isn't that kind of her? Wasn't that a difficult exam? So, in these different kinds of sentences, falling tune is used. Now, the second pattern, that is the rising tune. This is normally used in, first, incomplete statements, and there is an implied meaning at the back. It's 8 o'clock. Implied meaning is, and she hasn't come yet. I'll meet your parents if I go there. Second, polarity type questions, that is WH type questions, when they are asked in a warm or friendly way. How's your father? Rising tone. What's the matter? What's the matter? Then polite requests. Open the door. Throw it away. I hope you are able to make the difference between the falling and rising. Here and there I have used the same examples. Then we have question tags when the speaker gives his or her listener the option to agree with him or her. Example: you're a student, aren't you? It was a good film, wasn't it? And some expected responses. Example: thank you. But here, if we wish to express real gratitude, we should use falling tune. Thank you. But a rising tune shows us a rather casual acknowledgement of something not very important. Thank you. Then we have some alternative questions like, do you like Telugu, Hindi or English? Shall we go by bus or train? In enumeration: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then rising tune is also used in some afterthought, that is after a doubt or a hesitation is expressed. I'd go with you if I become free. He wears only khadi generally. Generally. Greetings, hello. Partings, goodbye. Apologies, I'm so sorry. Encouragements, keep trying. So these are some of the instances where we use rising tune. The next pattern is fall rise tune or the falling rising tune. Now the fall rise tune is sometimes referred to as dive. It consists of a fall from high to low and then a rise to the middle of the voice. This tune can be used either on one syllable or different syllables of a word or sentence. We can illustrate this as shown. That was nice. Nice. There were around 70 students present. That was nice. Here, the sentence 3 is an example of a divided fall rise, as the fall is on one syllable and the rise begins on a later syllable. The fall rise is marked in two ways. If the tune is used on one syllable, it is marked as shown, and the word is also, you can see on nice you have that small V-shaped symbol. If the tune is used on different syllables of a word, it is marked as shown, as in 70. Fall is on the first syllable and the rise is on the second syllable. If the fall rise is used on two different words in a sentence, it is marked as that was nice. The falling rising tune is normally used for special implications, not verbally expressed. For example, if we say, she's beautiful, the falling tune here means the word is precisely that. But if the same sentence is uttered with a fall rise, she's beautiful, the meaning implied here, perhaps that she is beautiful but not intelligent. Now here are some more examples with fall rise intonation to convey special implications such as these. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. So do hurry up. Do you play basketball? Sometimes, not always. Sometimes. The houses are nice. The houses are nice. Probably giving us the implication people may not be. And this is also used for correcting what someone has said. He is 45, 46. I like him. You used to. And it is also used to give warning. Please be careful. You will be late. Now coming to the fourth pattern, the rising falling tune. The rise reinforces the meaning conveyed by the following fall. This is also used for some specified implications, such as, do you agree? Yes. Yes. Which shows us enthusiastic agreement. Are you sure this will go with the dress? Something like that. Are you sure this will go with the dress? You are little bit suspicious. a kind of mocking. How interesting! How interesting! Showing us the sarcasm in the tone. Now, before concluding the lesson, let's discuss some of the functions of intonation. Many writers have attempted to produce a list of distinct functions of intonation. The following are given according to J.C. Wells. First is attitudinal function. This is also known as emotional function. That is, the intonation is used for expressing emotions and attitudes such as sarcasm, surprise, reserve, impatience, delight, shock, anger, interest, etc. Observe this sentence. Good morning. Good morning. In this utterance, the falling tone on the first syllable of morning suggests more excitement or enthusiasm on the part of the speaker. The second, grammatical function. This helps to identify grammatical structure in speech, performing a role similar to punctuation. That is, the systematic use of this function helps us to understand the difference between clause and a sentence or question and a statement. For example, he's going home. He's going home. In this example, it is easy to understand that a falling pitch movement that is normally associated with statements as uttered in the first way, he's going home. The same statement with a rising pitch turns it into a yes-no question. He's going home. Third function, informational function. Now, this helps to draw attention to show what information in the utterance is new and what information is already known. The following sentences: I saw a man in the garden. I've got a new pen. So, the man in the first sentence and new in the second sentence is the new information that the speaker wants to convey to the hearer. Fourth one is discourse function or textual function. This helps to show how clauses and sentences go together in spoken discourse. In a way, it expresses contrast and coherence. For example, we understand subordinate clauses and main clauses. When intonation is used, it is observed that subordinate clauses often use lower pitch, faster tempo and narrower pitch range than their main clause. The example in the sentence goes like this: the red planet as it's known is fourth from the sun. The red planet as it's known is fourth from the sun. Here, the subordinate clause as it's known is uttered with a lower pitch and fastness when compared to the main clause. Or if we listen to a sports commentary, we observe that changes in these features reflects the progress of the action in a sports commentary. Fifth function is psychological function. Now, this function helps to organize speech into units, which makes them easy to perceive, memorize and perform. For example, the utterance, you can have it in red, blue, green, yellow or black, is more difficult to understand and remember. But the same utterance, if divided into tone units or tone groups as You can have it in red, blue, green, yellow or black. Makes it easier to understand and remember. Now the last is indexical function. This helps to act as a marker of personal or social identity. Example, a person belonging to a group or group membership can be indicated by the use of intonation patterns specifically by that group. They are adopted by the group specifically, such as street vendors or preachers or lawyers, newscasters, sports commentators, army surgeons and several other occupations can be readily identified by the specific intonation patterns that are used by these different groups of people. In conclusion, we can say that no one has yet described all the nuances of meaning which can be conveyed by the intonation system. Even if we restrict the example to a single word like yes or a single context, will you help me? It proves difficult to capture everything that is evolved. To master the intonation of English requires a considerable length of time because it is an extremely complex task, extremely complex aspect of spoken English. Yet, practice makes the difference. Thank you.